Shalom, Yasha'Allah. This brother Mapathop, right? That'd be key, but in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. And it's going to be a quick video, right? Dealing with Sirach 29 and 20, right? Going into helping your neighbor according to your power, right? According to the abundance that you have, you should be willing to give to the next brother or the next sister, right? We have to love one another in this thing. You understand? We have to be merciful unto one another, right? And the Lord said is more blessed to give than to receive. So you have to be willing to give and to help the next brother, right? To be able to be willing to give and to help the next sister, right? And before we go into the words of the Lord, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, right? That's all praise to the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, who the real would ignorantly call Jesus Christ, but we know him as Yahweh Shai, the righteous, right? Yahweh Shai in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, right? And I want to get a quick precept first because I just paraphrased it, right? So let's go to Acts 20 and 35. Right, so this is the book of Acts, chapter 20 and verse 35, and it reads, I have showed you all things, how that so laboring you ought to support the weak. Right, so when you're laboring, you ought to support the weak. You understand? Right, the brother that's weaker in the faith than you, the sister that's weaker in the faith, that's weaker in the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Hey, if you're a little stronger in the faith, if you're a little stronger in the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you're not supposed to look down on the next brother. Right, that's on the spiritual level, but even on the a physical carnal level, you might be more financially stable than the next brother, right, or the next sister. That don't mean you can look down on that brother or sister. You should be willing to reach out your hand and help them. You understand? So it says, I have shown you all things, how that so laboring you ought to support the weak. The Lord said you ought to support the weak, right, and to remember the words of the Lord Yahweh Shai, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. So it's more blessed to give than to receive. You understand? You don't want to be the brother that's always walking around with his damn handout expecting somebody to give something to him. Hey, you should want to be that one that's always doing the giving. You understand? You should be the one that's always doing the lending. Right? Let's go to Sirach. That's what this thing is about. Right? So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 29 and verse number 20, right? And it reads, help thy neighbor according to thy power. So according to the abundance that you have, according to the power you have, right? Whether it's the precepts, you might have some precepts that you can shoot to the next brother when he getting weak in his spirit. You understand? Right? Hey, you might be a little more financially stable than your brother, right? And you're able to lend to your brother, help your brother with his rent. Salaki, help your brother with his rent, help your brother with his phone bill, whatever it may be. You understand? The Lord said, help thy neighbor according to thy power. So according to the power that you have, according to the things that you have, you should be willing to give and to help the next brother, help the next sister, right? And it says, beware that thyself, Salaki, and beware that thyself fall not into the same, right? Because you could be that prideful brother, right, who be like, man, you don't know that damn precept, man. Hey, you need to go do some studying, right? Or you ain't got $20, you need to go get you a damn job, right? If you're that prideful, brother, right? Hey, the Lord is going to bring you down, right? And that's why it says, and beware that thyself fall not into the same, right? Because if you're being prideful in a situation like that, when you have the opportunity to reprove a brother, right, or to help a brother, right, and you use that opportunity to become prideful and boast yourself up, hey, the Lord could put you in the same situation or even worse that brother or sister is in. You understand? So be willing to humbly help a brother, humbly help a sister, man. Right? Let's go to Galatians real fast. And I want to go to Proverbs as well. So this is the book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 1, and it reads, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness. So if a man be dealing with he might be dealing with a lust spirit, right? He's damn lusting after brothers' wives. You understand? He might be damn masturbating. He might be damn envying another brother, right? Hating another brother, whatever it may be, whatever your brother might be dealing with, right? He might be being a damn lion in his house to his woman, right? It says, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, Ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness. And when you're in a position to be able to reprove and restore, brother, to try to bring him back to his original state, you understand, build him back up. You're supposed to restore that brother in the spirit of meekness. You're not supposed to be proud like, hey, brother, you been a damn lion in your house. You a wicked nigga, man. Right? You a damn wicked nigga. Read this. Hey, that's off, man. The Lord could put you in that same situation, right? So that's why the Lord said, restore such a one in the spirit of in meekness. Right? You have to deal with your brother as if you were in, you know how I feel to be in his shoes. Just like Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 19 on down, where he talks about being all things to all men. You have to be relatable. You understand? You have to be meek, right? You have to consider that brothers is in these corruptible bodies. You have to keep all these things in mind. Stop being so high-minded and being wise in your own conceits, right? Because that's wicked, being proud. You understand? And it says, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. And it goes back to the same thing that we read about in Sirach 29. Right? The Lord could put you in that same situation as well if you're going to be prideful to your brother. You're going to look down on your brother. Like you can't deal with that little petty demon. Right? You still smoking weed. That's a petty demon, man. Right? That's because you're just wicked. That's why the Lord not dealing with you. That's why you still smoking weed. Right? Hey, and the Lord gonna have you right in that same situation. Right? So you gotta deal with your brothers in the spirit of meekness. Right? And I'm gonna read verse 2 as well. It says, bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Yahweh Shai. And that's how you fulfill the law of Yahweh Shai. That's how you love your brother. Right? By bearing one another's burdens. Right? Because that's what it's really all about. It's all about loving one another in this thing. Right, let's go to Ephesians. Because a lot of brothers think it's all about having the deepest, darkest breakdowns, or the 100% truth, or I know all the prophecies. Right? Your camp doesn't know the prophecies. The Lord isn't dealing with your camp. We have the elect in my camp. Hey, but that's off. Right? Because it's really all about loving your brothers, man. Right? There's no way I'm going to tell a brother, hey, you're not my brother because you're not in my camp. Hey, that's off, man. Right? Check this out. So this is Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 19. Because you got brothers that say that. Hey, the Lord not dealing with you if you're not in my camp. Or you're not my brother if you're not in my camp. Hey, man, that's off. Right? You're not my brother because my camp have all the prophetic breakdowns. We have all the understanding. Right? So this is the book of Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 19. And it reads, Ephesians 3 and 19, it reads, and know the love of Yahweh Shai, which passive knowledge. So having the love for your brothers, right? The love of Yahweh Shai, that passive knowledge, right? That supersedes knowledge, man. Right? Having the love for your brother is more important than having all the in-depth and deepest, darkest breakdowns. Right? Because if you have all the deepest, darkest breakdowns, yet you tell another brother you're not saluting him because he's not in your congregation, right? Hey, you going off, man. Nobody don't give a damn about you having all the prophetic breakdowns if you don't love your brothers, man. Right? So it says, and to know the love of Yahweh Shai, which passeth knowledge, that ye might be filled with all the fullness of the Most High. You see that? That's how you're going to be filled with all the spiritual goodness of the Most High, man. Right? The fullness of the Most High, Salakia. Right? So loving your brother in this thing, passive knowledge. That's plain. And let's go to Luke. Salakia, let's go to Proverbs. I wanted to bring this out. Let's go to Proverbs 3 and verse Salakia. God, that's what I want. Proverbs 3 and verse 27. And it reads, Salakia, withhold not good from them to whom it is due. Right? So it's going to the same thing. If you have an opportunity to do good for a brother, right? You might be damn driving down the street and you see a brother and he got a flat tire, right? And he need help. You understand? And you gotta hop out and help that brother. Don't withhold good from that brother if you have a spare tire, right? If you know how to if you have what the brother needs, basically, right? So it says, withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it, right? So if you have that in your power, right, you know how to fix a tire, you have a spare tire, whatever it may be, right? The brother walking around cold and you have an extra coat. Hey, give that brother the coat, man, right? Stop and help that brother fix his damn car. You understand? Verse 28, it says, say not unto thy neighbor, go and come again tomorrow, and I will give. So don't be that brother that a brother asks you for $20. You got the $20, but you like, damn, come back tomorrow, man. I might have it for you, right? You got to kind of contemplate and think about it, man. Hey, brother, if you got it, give it to the brother, man. Right? It says, say not unto thy neighbor, go and come again tomorrow, and I will give when thou hast it by thee. Right? So if you have it by you, you got to give it to that brother. You understand? Right? Don't try to withhold that from your brother, man. You understand? I want to go back to Sirach 29. There's a lot going on in there. Right? It's a good chapter. I'm gonna start from the top. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 29 and verse 1, and it reads, he that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor. So that brother that's full of mercy, right, that's full of compassion, you understand, he's going to lend unto his neighbor, right? He's going to be willing to open up his hand and give, you understand? Hey, I seen in the world, right, I seen what Jake would call, the world would call fiends, hey, give the last $2 out of their pockets, man, right? I seen a homeless brother give somebody else the last $2 out of his pocket, man. Right? So it says, he that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor, and he that strengtheneth his hand keepeth the commandments. Right? So if you're merciful, you're going to lend to your neighbor, man. You understand? Right? If you're compassionate, you're going to lend to your neighbor. Verse 2, it says, lend to thy neighbor in the time of his need, and pay thou thy neighbor again in due season. Right? So you're supposed to lend to a neighbor in a time of his need. When a brother is in need, a sister is in need, and if you have what they need, right, and you can give it to them, hey, give it to them, man. Right? And it says, and pay thou thy neighbor again in due season. If you were to borrow something from a brother, right, hey, pay him back, man, in due season, right, when you have the chance to. Right? Verse 3, it says, keep thy word and deal faithfully with him. Right? And then when you got a neighbor, a brother in this thing, hey, you're supposed to always keep your word, man, and deal faithfully with them. Right? It says, and thou shalt always find the thing that is necessary for thee, man. Right? And the point is, hey, be willing to lend to the next brother. And when you got a friend in this thing, when you got brothers in this thing, hey, keep your word, man. Right? Don't be going back on your word or lying to your brothers, man. You understand? Let's go to Luke 10. Right, so the biggest part of this ministry is really love, right? Yahweh Shai said that. You understand? Matter of fact, let's get that. What is that? Let's go to Mark. Let's get that first. Let's go to Mark 12. Right? So this is the book of Mark 12 and verse 31. And this is red letter. This is what Yahweh Shai said. Right? So this is the book of Mark chapter 12 and verse 31, and it reads, I'm gonna start from 30. Right, and this is Yahweh Shai speaking. It says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart. I'm gonna start from 30. It says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. That's the first commandment, to love the Most High God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Right, give everything you got to the Most High. Verse 31, this is the point. It says, and the second is like, right, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Right? So this is the second greatest commandment, is to love your neighbor, love your brother as you love yourself, man. That's what the Lord said. That's what Yahweh Shai said. Right? And it says, there is none other commandment greater than these. And there's no commandment greater than these. You understand? There's no commandment greater than loving the Most High God and loving your neighbor, man. Loving your brother in this thing. And it's something we need to meditate on. Right? This is something brothers should always be meditating on. Right? How can you be a better keeper of your brother? You understand? Right? Just being a better brother in this thing, man. Right? How can I help my brother and provoke my brother to good works? How can I keep my brother strong in his truth? What can I do to be a good example unto my brothers, man? Right? That should always be in the back of your mind. When you praying, you should always be praying for your brothers and sisters in this thing, man. Right? Something I say a lot, right? But it is what it is. Right? Hey, this thing is not about you. A lot of brothers, they really think this truth is about them. They think the Most High just chose them so they can become a mighty man. Right? Even though the Lord is going to raise up brothers in these last days, but it's not about you becoming mighty and being the king of the earth and just glorifying yourself in this thing. It's not about you, man. It's about loving your brothers, man. Right? It's about loving the Most High God, right? And Paul is a good example of that, man. Everything Paul did was for the Lord and for the next brother or the next sister in the faith, man. Right? Paul understood this thing was not about him. It was about all of the elect. Right? So we have to really love our brothers in this thing, man. Right? Let's go to 1 Samuel. So the 1 Samuel. Salaki, let's go to 2 Samuel. Let's go to 2 Samuel 1. Salaki, I'm going off. 2 Samuel 1, and I believe it's verse 25. So this is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 25, and it reads, "How are the mighty fallen in the midst of battle? O Jonathan, thou wast slain in thine high places." Right? And it says, verse 26, this is the point. I am distressed for thee. Right? This is King David speaking. It says, "My brother Jonathan, very pleasant hast thou been unto me. Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of woman." Right? So the love that David and Jonathan had for each other, hey, it passed the love of woman, man. That's deep, right? That's how you're supposed to love your brother in this thing. He said the love that I have for my brother, it passed the love of woman, man. Right? And that's heavy, man. Right? And on a carnal level, a carnal man can't really perceive how deep this is. A carnal man will take this and kind of twist it all up, and next thing you know, all hell breaking loose, right? Those that got an ear, let them hear, right? Hey, but through the spirit, hey, that's super deep. That's a super deep scripture, right? And this is how we're supposed to love one another in this thing. This how you're supposed to love your brother. He said the love that we have for one another past the love of a woman, man. Right? That's actually super duper heavy, man. You understand? So I want to go to Luke chapter 10. Matter of fact, let's go to Genesis, right? Let's go to Genesis 14. Right, this is supposed to be more about giving, right? Hey, but it goes hand in hand with loving your brother, man. So we're gonna go into it. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 14 and verse 10, and it reads. Yeah, I'm gonna start from 10. It says, "And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountains. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals and went their way." Right, and it's the point. And they took Lot, right? So you had these damn Hamites that took Lot captive, right? And it says, and they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, Salakia. So they took Abraham's nephew, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed, right? So Lot was taken captive when these different Hamites came and basically kind of subdued Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And they took Lot as well. It says, "And there came one that had escaped and told Abraham the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner. And these were confederate with Abraham," right? And it's the point. This is when it gets kind of deep, man. It says, "And when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive," so Abraham, like, man, y'all took my nephew, right? And basically his brother, because they all are the same bloodline. Right, so it says, "And when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants born in his house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan." Right, so Abraham armed 318 men when he heard that his nephew was taken captive, man. This is how much he loved his brother. He didn't just say, "Hey, it is what it is," right? That's judgment, right? He should have never been being wicked, right? Whatever he could have said. Hey, man, he armed up 318 men and said, "Hey, I'm going back to get my nephew, man," right? Hey, that's how we gotta love one another in this thing, man. Right? Hey, in the last days, the love of the brethren is the love of one another is waxing cold in this thing, man. Like Yahweh Shai said in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12, man. Right? "Iniquity abounds and the love of many is waxing cold." Right? Roughly paraphrasing. We can see that happening, man. Brothers don't even be wanting to get. Brothers can have $5,000 on them, and a brother asking for a damn dollar. And he a damn get mad and give it to him. Man, you need to get you a job. Right? Hey, we don't love each other no more, man. But this is how much Abraham loved Lot, man. Right? It says, 318, "and pursued them unto Dan, and he divided himself against them. he and his servants by night, and smote them, and pursued them into Habah, which is on the left hand of Damascus, Lakia. Right, and it says, and he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot. So he went and got Lot back, man. Right, and it says, and his goods, and the woman also, and the people. And that's the point, man. Right, he said, man, I'm about to go get my brother back, and that's what he did, man. Right, that's bearing your brother's burden, man. That's loving your brother, man. Right, that's what Yahweh Shai put his life on the line for us. He literally died for us to come back into the covenant, man. That's loving your brother, man. You understand? Let's go back to Sirach 29. Right, it's a heavy chapter. Right, and I'm gonna get verse 10. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 29, and verse number 10, and it reads, lose thy money for thy brother and thy friend. So like I was just saying, a lot of brothers kind of damn get mad when a brother asks them for a damn dollar, man, and they got $5,000 in their pocket, man. Right here, man. Damn, get you a job, man. Always asking for something. Hey, brother, you got 5,000. The brother just need a damn dollar so he can eat, man. Right? That's how you know the love of many is waxing cold in these last days. People are starting to become lovers of self. Right? Brother just want the damn 5,000 so he could damn sit on Instagram and take pictures of himself all day, man. Right? Record videos of himself all day. But he's not willing to even give it to help his mother pay the rent, man. Right? He's not willing to give it so that his brother can eat. You understand? Right? But the Lord said, lose thy money for thy brother and thy friend. Hey, so you got to be willing to lose money when it comes to your brothers and your friends, man, if they're in need of it, man. Right? Because the Lord may have only gave you that abundance so that you can help the next brother, so that you can help the next sister. Right? And it says, and let it not rust under a stone to be lost. So you just stacking up a bunch of money in vanity, man. Right? You just rich for no reason, man. You could be helping somebody with that money. You understand? So let's go to Luke. Right? Let's go to Luke. 10 and verse 30, and this is a beautiful parable, right? So this is the book of Luke, chapter 10 and verse 30, and it reads, and Yahweh Shai answering said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, right, and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. So you had this man that was basically, he was robbed, man, right, and he was left half dead, right? He was beaten and he was robbed. And he was even stripped of his clothing, you understand? And he was left half dead. And Jake do that today on the left-hand side. They rob a brother and strip him out his damn clothes, man. They kind of leave him there half dead. And this is what happened. This is what happened in this parable, right? In verse 31, it says, and by chance there came down a certain priest that way. So you had a priest, a man that was a man of high stature, you understand? A man that was supposed to be a doctor of the law, you understand? So it says, and likewise a Levite, Shalaki, verse 31 again, it says, and by chance there came down a priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. So this man of high stature, this man that has some type of authority, he seen his brother half dead, and he just looked down at him and kind of kept walking, man. Right? And that's wicked, right? And this is on a physical level. But how much more on a spiritual level when you see your brother waxing weaker and weaker in the spirit, right? You see your brother talking about the Bible less, right? You see your brother coming to camp less. You see your brother is just kind of waxing weaker and weaker in the faith, right? In the spirit, right? You don't want to be that brother like this Levite that just walk past your brother. Oh, I don't care. As long as I'm doing good in the spirit, right? You got to work out your own salvation. I don't really care, right? Maybe the Lord is dealing with him because he's been going off. Hey, that's off, man. Right? And that's how a lot of brothers is. Reading on, it says, and likewise a Levite, right? So Levite, same thing. A man that was of high stature, right? It says, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side. So even the Levite, who the Lord ordained in the ancient days to be able to work in the tabernacle, right? To be able to do the service in the temple of the Lord, right? He seen his brother half dead and he just walked right past him, man. Right? Like nothing happened. Right? And it says, but a certain Samaritan, right? So now you have a man of low stature, right? It says, but a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, right? And we want to be like the Good Samaritan, right? If we see our brother waxing weak, right, we want to be there to be able to comfort our brothers, right? To be able to help restore our brothers in the spirit of meekness, right? And even on a physical level, if you see a brother kind of a bullet in his shoulder at the corner store, hey, you want to be the brother that's going to call an ambulance for that brother, right? And you want to sit there with that brother until the ambulance get there and make sure that brother all right, man. Right? You don't want to just kind of step over him. That's what you get for being in the streets, nigga. Right? You kind of call a brother a nigga and tell him that's what he get for being in the streets, or that's what that's what he deserved for whatever he did to whoever shot him. Right? Hey, nah, brother. If that's your brother, man, you supposed to help that brother. Right? So it says, I'm gonna read verse 33 again. It says, but a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, man. So we want to be merciful, right? We want to be compassionate to our brothers and sisters in this thing. And it says, and went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast. So he healed his wounds, man, right? And brought him to an inn and took care of him, right? And Salakia, I'm gonna read on. And on the morrow, when he departed, he took 2 pence and gave them to the host and said unto him, take care of him, right? So he paid for the brother to be taken care of. And whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee. And he said, if it costs a little extra, yeah, I'm gonna repay that as well, right? Which now of these 3 thinkest thou was neighbor unto him that fell among thieves? So now Yahushua is asking the brother, which one do you think was his neighbor, right? The Levite, the priest, right, or the Samaritan that healed his wounds? And it says, verse 37, and he said, he that showed mercy on him. Then said Yahushua unto him, go and do thou likewise. So Yahushua was teaching him that his neighbor was the one that showed mercy unto him, and his brother was the one that showed mercy unto him, right? So as a brother in this thing, right, we have to be compassionate and merciful unto our brothers, right? Don't feel like this thing is always about being the next King David or Judas Maccabeus, right? I use them a lot because they super mighty, right? On the physical level, valiant men, right? Men of war, men of valor, right? But you have to understand they were also compassionate men that was operating in the spirit of the Lord. You understand? Don't think this truth is just about being a mighty man, right? A mighty man of valor. And you think you're being soft if you're compassionate and merciful. You understand? If you're that brother that's going to allow your brother to cry on your shoulder, right? To give your brother a hug when he's going through it, man. Right? That's how Yahushua was. John laid in Yahushua's bosom. You understand? And a lot of carnally minded brothers, they think that's going off, right? They kind of go off, right? All hell start breaking loose. You understand? But hey, John laid in Yahushua's bosom. But a lot of brothers don't like to teach that side of the scriptures, man. Right? A lot of brothers think that's soft. Right? But hey, that's how our forefathers got down. We were compassionate, merciful, and loving unto one another. Right? And it says, a lot of brothers just want to get on the so-called white man. Right? Let's just call it how it is, man. A lot of brothers just want to yell at Esau. They just want to know all the precepts to yell at Esau. Right? That's all brothers really want to know, man. Right? But hey, we got to bring these things out. You understand? We got to bring out the fruits of the spirit. Salakia. And it says, so that's all I wanted on that. The Lord said your neighbor is the one that stopped and healed his wounds, man. Right? So that's really bearing your brother's burdens in this thing. Let's go to Mark 2. Right? And we're going to start from verse 3. Right? So this is the book of Mark chapter 2 and verse 3, and it reads, it says, and they came unto him bringing one sick of the palsy, which was born of 4. Right? So you had a bunch of people coming to Yahushua to get healed. And you had a man that was sick of the palsy. Right? He couldn't walk himself. But he was born, meaning he was carried by 4 of his brothers, man. Let's go into that word born real fast just to get an understanding. For edification's sake. Right? It says to raise up. Right? The word is arrow.
Strong's G 142. Iro.
Right?
Iro.
Right? And the definition is to raise up, elevate, and lift up. Right? And I just want to show that's what that's talking about. Right? That's what it means when it says he was born of 4. Right? So since he couldn't walk, and they said, hey, we gonna all lift up our brother so that he could get healed, man. Right? They could have kind of left him there. That's his fault. That's maybe the Lord made him like that because he wasn't supposed to get healed. I'm gonna make sure I go get healed though. No, man, you have 4 brothers lift up their brother and take him to Yahweh Shai, right? And it gets even heavier. Check this out. Verse 4. And how much more on a spiritual level, man? Right? If a brother, when he's falling and waxing weak, he got 4 brothers and that's and the number 4 in the scriptures represent infinite amount. You understand? That's what it goes. That's what it's going into, right? So imagine if that brother who's waxing weak in the spirit, he got an infinite amount of brothers, right? Or I'm gonna say 4 just for the context sake, right? 4 brothers that's gonna fast with him, right? That's gonna pray for him. You understand? You understand? That's gonna counsel him daily, right? That's gonna weep with him, right, for whatever he's going through, right, to strengthen him. You understand? And that's what these brothers did, man. 4 brothers lift their brother up to take him to the ever living waters, man. Right? Which is this word, right? Which is Yahushua, right? In verse 4 it says, and when they could not come nigh unto him for the press, right? So now all of them they carrying a brother, right? But they couldn't come nigh unto Yahushua because there was too many people. This is what they did for their brother. It says they uncovered the roof where he was, right? So they kind of uncovered the roof where he was. And when they had broken it up, so they broke up the roof, they let down the bed wherein the sick of the palsy lay. Hey, and they let down that bed. They did all this just so their brother can be healed by Yahweh Shai, man. But you have to really understand how deep that actually is, man. That's love, man. That's bearing your brother's burden, right? Hey, they could have been like, hey, about time we lift you up, we don't know if he gonna still be there. We might miss out on our opportunity for us to be healed, right? Me. But they said, no, that's not about us, man. Right? We can't, no man left behind spirit. That's the spirit these brothers had on them, man. They said we're gonna take our brother, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful account, right? In verse 5 it says, and when Yahushua saw their faith, he said unto the sick of the palsy, son, thy sins be forgiven. And Yahushua seen the faith that they had. Yahushua said, hey, they went hard. They went hard to get this eternal life, man. They went hard to get healed. You understand? They went hard to come into the word, to come into the waters. You understand? And Yahushua said, hey, when Yahushua saw their faith, he said unto the sick of the palsy, son, thy sins be forgiven thee. Right? Because by their works, Yahushua saw their faith. You understand? So that's deep. Right? Let's go to Matthew 5. Right? In verse number, Salaki, bear with me. Yeah, this is what I want. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 41. This is red letter as well. Yahushua speaking. It says, and whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Right? Hey, so just dealing with that same account we just read before this. Hey, that brother could have just probably said, hey, just take me halfway. And I'll crawl the rest of the way. Hey, but they took him all the way, man. Right? Your brother might hit you up and say, hey, brother, I'm going through it, man. Can you shoot me like 2 precepts, Baba Kashab, man? I'm going through it. I can't even get into the scriptures right now. I'm just dealing with a lot. Hey, you're gonna be like, hey, you wanted 2 precepts? You might shoot that brother 5 precepts, right? You might shoot that brother 10 precepts, and the brother might be like, hey, brother, I need some. Hey, brother, can you just call me for 10 minutes? Can you come over and chop it up with me for 15 minutes? I'm going through it, right? Hey, the brother asked for 15 minutes, but you gonna sit there and chop it up with your brother for an hour, man. Right? You're gonna sit right there and chop it up with your brother for 2 hours, man. Even though he only asked for 15 minutes. That's what the Lord is saying when it says, and whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. So go that extra mile to be there for your brother. You understand? That's what the Lord is saying, right? So that's loving your brothers, man. Loving your sisters in this thing, man. Go that extra mile, man. Right? And I'm gonna read verse 42 as well. It says, give to him that asks of thee, right? And it says, from him that will borrow of thee, turn not away. Right? So Yahushua is kind of going to the same thing that Solomon said in the Proverbs 3 that we read earlier. Right? Somebody asks you for something and you have it. Don't turn him away. Don't tell that brother, I got you tomorrow or I got you next week. Hey, give it to that man if you have it, man. You understand? Let's go to Sirach. Let's go to Sirach 22. Right? Go to Sirach 22. Be willing to defend your friends in this thing. Right? So like it, bro, with me. 20. This is what I want. Sirach 22 and 25. This whole thing is actually good. Yeah, I'm gonna get Salaki, bro. I'm gonna get 23 first. It says, Sirach 22 and verse 23, and it says, "Be faithful to thy neighbor in his poverty." So even when your brother or sister is at a low estate, right? Whether that's spiritually, whether that's physically, right? They're kind of homeless right now, whatever it may be. The Lord said, "Be faithful to thy neighbor in his poverty, that thou mayest rejoice in his prosperity." So be faithful to your neighbor no matter what position they're in, no matter if they're at a low estate, right? And then when you're faithful to that brother or sister when they're in a low estate, you're going to rejoice with them in their prosperity. Because now when they're prosper, they're going to remember that you was always there for them. Like people say in the world, right? Jake say this in the world. Hey, I looked out for this brother because he looked out for me when I was down bad, right? So when I get on my feet, I'm gonna make sure I look out for my boy, right? That's what Jake can tell you in the world, and the Lord said that, right? That's wisdom, right? But the Lord said, "Be faithful to thy neighbor in his poverty, that thou mayest rejoice in his prosperity. Abide steadfast unto him in his time of trouble." So in the time of that brother or sister's trouble, you abide steadfast unto them, right? You don't turn your back on somebody because they're going through it, right? And it says that thou mayest be here with him in his heritage. For a mean estate is not always to be contemned. So somebody that's in a low estate is not always to be looked down upon. You understand? Hey, when I was in the world, I used to always realize, hey, when I stop and talk to like somebody that seems like they're in the low estate or they like homeless, they always have the most wise and humble things to say for the most part. You understand? That's something I understood in the world, right? So how much more now? So it says, for a mean estate is not always to be contemned. So when you see somebody that's probably stinking, right? They smell like they ain't shower in 5 days, right? They always wearing the same clothes, right? They always walking around. They might be collecting bottles or whatever it may be, digging in people's garbage cans to collect bottles. That's not always something to be contemned. You understand? That's not always something to look down upon, right? Don't just look down at that brother and feel like you're better than him. Look at him. He ain't nothing but a bum, right? He damn collecting bottles. Hey, the Lord said a mean estate is not always to be contemned, right? You got a lot of wicked brothers who won't stop and talk to a homeless person, right? You got a lot of wicked brothers who makes it a burden, right, for them to stop and bow their ear unto a poor person, right, or to somebody that's in a lower estate than them, right? But you got to be willing to stop and talk to that homeless man, right? You got to be willing to stop and talk to that man that's always begging for dollars at the damn corner store, man, right? The Lord said it's not always to be contemned. And it says, "Nor the rich that is foolish to be had in admiration." And you're not supposed to admire a foolish man, right? But the point is, be faithful to thy neighbor in his poverty, man, right? So when that brother, right, your brother or your sister is in a low estate, right, when they're in poverty, right, be faithful to them. You understand? Don't kind of turn your back on them, right? I want to go down to verse 25, right? So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 22 and verse 25. And it says, "And I will not be ashamed to defend a friend, neither will I hide myself from him," right? And don't be ashamed to defend a friend. Like, for example, just going back to what we were just going into, right? When it comes to a homeless man, what if one of your friends became homeless, right? And what if they didn't have anywhere to shower and they smell like they ain't shower in 5 days, right? What if they were at the store asking for a damn dollar when you seen them, man, right? Kind of going through it. Are you going to be ashamed to defend that friend, right? When he kind of call your name, right? Are you going to be like, "Oh shit, I don't know him. I don't know how he know my name," right? You damn wicked, man. "Yeah, I don't know how he know my name." And you knew that man all your damn life, right? But now you're telling everybody, "Yeah, I don't. He must have got a lucky guess," right? And it says, "Neither will I hide myself from him." And now every time you see him, you kind of hiding from him. "Oh, here go John again." Right now you kind of hiding until he walk by, man. And then you then pop out the bushes after the brother walk by, man. Right? That's off, man. Right? Hey, you're not supposed to be ashamed to defend your friend, man. Right? You're not supposed to be ashamed to defend a friend. It says, "Neither will I hide myself from him." Right? And I want to go to 1 Samuel. Right? Let's go to 1 Samuel 20 and verse number 30. Right? And it reads, let's go to 1 Samuel 19 first. Right? Start from the top. So this is the book of 1 Samuel to the 19 and verse 1, and it reads, "And Saul spake to Jonathan his son and to all his servants that they should kill David." So now Saul, he was telling Jonathan and also his servants, hey, when y'all see David, put him to death. Right? But Jonathan saw a son delighted much in David, and Jonathan told David, saying, Saul my father seeketh to kill thee. Now therefore I pray thee, take heed to thyself until the morning, and abide in the secret place and hide thyself. Right? So Jonathan didn't care that his father was the king. Right? Hey, he had love for his brother. Right? He wasn't ashamed to defend his friend. He told David to hide, man. Right? He said, hey, my father seeketh to kill you. Right? In verse 3 it says, and I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where thou art, Salakia. And I will commune with my father of thee, and what I see, that I will tell thee. Right? So he kind of setting up a plan for David to be preserved. Right? In verse 4 it says, and Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father. So Jonathan spake good things about David unto his father, right, to turn away his wrath. Right? So he was defending his friend. Right? And it says, and said unto him, let not the king sin against David, Salakia, let not the king sin against his servant, against David, because he have not sinned against thee. So Jonathan is telling his father, hey, don't sin against David, because he ain't do nothing to you, man. Right? He's defending his friend, man. Right? And it says, and because his works have been toward thee very good. Right? For he did put his life in his hand, and slew the Philistine, and the Lord wrought a great salvation for all Israel. Thou sawest it and didst rejoice. Right? So he said, hey, you seen what he did, right, through the Spirit of the Lord, and you rejoiced in it, right? And it says, wherefore then wilt thou sin against innocent blood to slay David without a cause? So he said, what is you going to slay him for? Right? You know you ain't even got a reason to kill him. Right? In verse 6, it says, and Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan, and Saul swore as the Lord liveth, he shall not be slain. See that? And he defended his friend, man. Right? He made Saul change his mind, like, okay, you're right. He shouldn't be killed. You see that? A lot of brothers would have just been like, man, it is what it is. You my father, and I'm gonna get the kingdom after you. And if you want to slay him, man. It is what it is, Pops. You the king, right? Respecter of persons. But he said, no, I love my brother. Right? He said, hey, you don't have a reason to slay him. Right? Let's go to the next chapter. In 1 Samuel 20 and verse 30, right? And it reads, then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, thou son of the perverse rebellious woman, do not I know that thou hast chosen the son of Jesse to thine own confusion, and into the confusion of thy mother's nakedness? It says, for as long as the son of Jesse liveth upon the ground, thou shalt not be established, nor thy kingdom. So Saul said, hey, since you want to take the side of David, as long as he's living, you're never going to get the kingdom, man. Right? You're not going to be my predecessor. Salaki, if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Right? But you're not going to get the kingdom after me. Right? And it says, wherefore now, Salakia, yeah, not the predecessor, Salakia, but he's telling them he's not going to be the king. He's not going to get the kingdom after him. Right? It says, wherefore now send and fetch him unto me, for he shall surely die. Right? So Saul said, now bring King David to me. Salakia, bring David to me, and he's going to surely die. Right? So he thought by him telling them, hey, as long as he lives, you're not going to become the king. Right? That was going to make Jonathan want to kill him. Right? And it says, verse 32, and Jonathan answered Saul his father and said unto him, wherefore shall he be slain? And what hath he done? So once again, he's pleading for him. Right? He's defending his brother. Right? What is you killing him for, man? What did he do that you want to kill him? Right? And Saul cast a javelin at him to smite him, whereby Jonathan knew that it was determined to his father to slay David. And Saul got so mad that he tried to kill his own son. Right? And it says, so Jonathan arose from the table in fierce anger, and did eat no meat the second day of the month, for he was grieved for David, because his father has done him shame. Right? So Jonathan got so upset that he didn't even eat, man. And that was at the new moon feast, man. Right? So that's how much we gotta love our brothers. That's how we gotta go to defend our brothers, man. Right? We will not be ashamed to defend a friend in this thing, man. You see that? So let's get one more and I'm gonna close out. Right? So you can't be ashamed to defend a friend. Right, I'm gonna get a couple more. Salakia, bear with me. Let's go to 1 Peter 1 and verse 22, and it reads, seeing you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren, see that you love one another with a pure heart fervently. Right? So we have to love one another with a pure heart fervently. right? We have to love one another like Jonathan and David love one another, right? And I'm gonna get one more and close out, right? And this lesson was supposed to be more about giving, right? But like I said earlier, it all goes hand in hand with loving one another, right? So it's all through the spirit, right? Hey, we gotta love one another, and that's one of the fruits of the spirit is love. You understand, right? And I'm gonna end it off with this, the classic Hebrews chapter 13 and verse number 1. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get two more. So like it, bear with me, right? The Lord kind of bringing precepts to my mind through the spirit, right? I'm gonna get something else before I get this. Matter of fact, let's go to the book of Philemon, right? And this is Philemon 1, and I'm gonna start from 15, and it reads, "For perhaps he therefore departed for a season, that thou shouldest receive him forever," right? And this is talking about Onesimus, Salaki, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, right? And it says, "Not now as a servant, but above a servant, a brother beloved," right? So he said maybe he departed so that you can receive him forever as a brother, right? Not just as a servant, but as a brother beloved. It says, "Especially to me, but how much more unto thee," right? Both in the flesh, right, and in the Lord. You understand? So he said, hey, he might want you to receive him as a brother, man, not just a servant, right? Because and Paul said, especially to me, right? Because he is my brother. He said, but how much more unto thee, right? How much more unto you, both in the flesh and in the Lord, right? And it says, "And thou count me therefore a partner, receive him as myself." And Paul is telling Philemon, hey, if you accept me as your partner, receive him as you receive me. So he said, receive my brother Onesimus as you receive me, right? And it says, "And if he have wronged thee or oweth thee aught, put that on mine account," man. That's mighty, man. That's like if a brother, you got one brother after another brother head because he owe him $20. Yeah, I'm a kind of kick his, you know what I'm saying, right? I'm gonna kind of kick his butt, right? I'm gonna kind of kick his butt if next time I see him, he don't have my $20. Hey, you want to be that brother? Hey, just chill out, brother. Hey, we are brothers, man. I got the $20. You understand? That's basically what Paul was doing, man. Right? Paul said that if he wronged thee or oweth thee aught, put that on mine account, man. I'll take care of it, man. Right? Verse 19, it says, "I, Paul, have written it." It says, "With my own hand, I will repay it." And Paul said, hey, I will repay it, man. I'm a man of my word. I've written it with my own hand. Right? It says, "Albeit I do not say to thee how thou owest unto me, even thy own self besides," man. Right? But the point is, Paul said, hey, put that on my tab, man. Right? Just like the Good Samaritan said, right, when he healed up the brother's wound. And if it's a little extra on there, hey, I'm gonna pay that. You understand? Hey, so this is how we gotta love our brothers, man. Hey, and Philemon is a great epistle dealing with basically dealing with brotherly love. You understand? Right? And I'm gonna go back to Hebrews 13 and we're gonna close out through the spirit. Right, so this is the book of Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 1, and it reads, "Let brotherly love continue," man. And that's plain. That don't even really need to be broken down. Right? We have to let brotherly love continue, man. Right? So in these last days, love your brother. You understand? Be merciful, be compassionate, be gentle and meek when you're dealing with your brothers and sisters in this thing. Be willing to give, man. Be willing to lend a helping hand. Right? Be willing to give counsel. If a brother needs you, right, he's kind of reaching out to you, right? Or even if you could just perceive through the spirit that a brother is waxing weak, right? Or he's waxing faint in this thing, man. Reach out to that brother. Be willing to fast with that brother. Pray with that brother. Shoot that brother precepts, you understand? Right? So in these last days, continue to read, continue to fast, continue to pray. Right? Once again, continue to love your brothers and sisters in this thing. You understand? Continue to do all that you can do to magnify the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Right? And I want to say Shalom, Yasha Allah.